So this is Stu Allen. I'm here with Lee Burton. We are just a few moments finished with the debut show from Pro Wrestling Eve here at the Delphi Club in Sudbury. And we're going to have, hopefully, maybe 10-15 minutes with WWE developmental talent Gemma Palmer. She's going to be coming up and hopefully giving us a moment of her time. But until then, we thought we'd take an opportunity just to run through the show quickly. Overall thoughts, Lee?
I'll tell you what, I enjoyed it. You know, I thought, it's the kind of shows that you expected when we went to see Chick Fight. You know, you had sort of a slow build on the undercard matches. Eventually built up to a crescendo with the main events, and the two main events with the tapings were just great.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we've got to look at the matches of the night, as far as the show's concerned, it's the two main events: the Volume 1, the Episode 1 taping, which had Blue Nikita against Brittany Knight, and then Episode 2, which had Saraya Knight versus Blue Nikita in a just vicious brawl. Involved kendo sticks, bins, caution signs. There was no caution taken with the caution signs.
Definitely not. No, I think that was one of those. That was one of those matches that was very reminiscent of the UK Chick Fight shows. I mean, we both remember Wesner and Blue Nikita. We were there. Yeah,
or Wesner and cheerleader Melissa. That was right up there with those. And it was great as well just to see Brittany Knight main eventing on the first taping as well. I've long since thought she's the best talent in the UK, so it's nice to see her getting that opportunity. Other people getting an opportunity on the show people may not be aware of, but we got some of the girls from the Northern Academy with... Oh, hang on.
Oh, it looks like we're going to be joined over here.
It's great. Yeah, food uses, but it's okay.
We're joined by Sweet Saraya.
Really? I'm going home, dude.
Sweet Saraya's going home.
She is going home, but before you go...
Seriously? What?
Yeah, no, seriously, we're recording our podcast.
Okay.
Any thoughts on the show?
It hurt.
I'm sure that we were just talking about your match with Blue Nikita. There was violence.
Was there?
There was a lot of violence. Are you okay?
Shit.
That's the question I've got to ask you.
I've got a lump on the back of my head the size of a duck egg.
Right.
Where I knocked myself out earlier on in the night. She did. And then the actual match I'd done with her at the end, like the hardcore shit, it's just tough, especially from a girl's point of view, because you've got to really, really go for it. And all I can remember really is that everything hurt, and all I could hear was whoosh, and then I knew an owl was going to follow, because you knew that you heard the stick go through there, and you think, oh God.
Well, that was a stick, and then it sort of ended up just being debris all around the ring.
Yeah. Well, I've got more welts on my body than I think I've ever had in the whole time I've been flipping doing this game. She proper battered me, and I can't take it away from her. She did. So.
Before we let you go, because I can see you're about to go any time now, I just got the questions. First of all, as far as the debut of this all-women's promotion, do you think it's a success?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, the Americans have got Shimmer. Why can't the Europeans have this place?
Amen.
Do you know what I mean? It's a case it's only going to be good, and I'm meant to be a leading flipping flagship of female wrestling, and I just think it can only be good for us. You know, if they keep it up and they keep bringing girls, from away over... It gives us English girls a chance to go on with the Europeans, and it also gives the Europeans a chance to come over here and go on with us. And I just think everyone in Europe, female-wise, should aspire to be somewhere or do something in the early stages of their career. Well, if this is the first stop between here and then go to Shimmer and then WE or TNA or something like that, then so be it. I'll back it.
Okay, and one final question. I don't know what chance you had to do it, but did you get a chance to see any of the other girls? Anybody impress you if you did get a chance to see anybody else's matches? Or anybody impress you as far as attitude was concerned? Anybody you have your eye on?
To be honest, I liked... all the girls that were here tonight were very respectful, very polite, work rate. They'd come up and admit that they were either just learning or they'd taken the next step, or they were going pro, and none of them bullshitted me, which I respect. You know me, I don't like crap. So if a girl comes in to me and says that she can do this, that, and the other, I expect them to do it. And I just think all the girls in their own way, there's obviously some that need to learn more, but they're going in the right direction. They've got the right attitude, and I'll work with any girl that was on that bill tonight and have no problem with it, as long as it's not hardcore.
Fair point, well made. You've got a women's training camp coming up in June as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
June 19th, 20th?
Yeah.
And you're going to have an all-women's show on the
just to
Sunday
finish
night
it
as well,
end,
just like a weekend training thing. So if anybody is interested in that, anybody's listening to this in the UK or from further afield, want to come and be trained by the best in Britain, by all means, come along. WAW's training camp.
He always says I'm the best.
June 19th and 20th. Sweet Saraya, thank you very much.
No
as
worries,
always.
dude. Right, I'm sorry, I've got to kiss you now.
It's like romance going on around here. It's
Yes,
fantastic.
all right.
Oh, man.
Right.
Oh, I'm a happy guy.
Seriously, I'm starting to see, so I need to go and kind of get in that position in the car.
Yeah, you go and relax.
And then hope for the best.
Good luck.
All the best.
See you soon.
Take care. Well, that was a nice little interlude there.
Little unscheduled appearance.
That's the most action I've had in weeks. Let's get back to the cards, shall we, while I sort of cool myself down.
The show saw the debut of the catch division as well with... now, I don't get my pronunciation right on this, but Jenny's...
I'd say
Sodin against April Davids. They started the show. Not sure it was the right place to put the match, to be fair. It was one of those things where I think people didn't really know what to make of it, especially on the first show, on the first taping. But they worked a sort of a UWFI, sort of battle arts type style, which I think there's a place for. And I think they did really well. I'm just not sure it was necessarily the best place to start it right from the beginning.
Yeah, I think people, given the chance, will get used to it.
Yes.
I think there is a reason for them to get used to it as well, because it is something different and it is another sort of different aspect. And with MMA also taking off, there was a lot of kicking and a lot of the groundwork involved, and that all seemed to work quite well. What I would say is that the rounds I think needs to be a bit longer.
Yes,
I think 2 minutes was too short.
Hang on just 1 second.
It looks like Dan Reed, the promoter's heading over here. Well, he was heading over here. We'll probably grab him in a second.
Dan Reed,
come and sit with us.
Dan Reed, the show's over.
It is.
How was it for you?
I don't really know, to be quite honest with you. I didn't really see a great deal. I was backstage. There was a lot of problems that was occurring in the week. On Tuesday, in the space of an hour on Tuesday, I lost my camera crew. I lost the ring van broke, which also had our PA system on it. Was bringing down our original MC. Was also bringing down Stacey Baby and various other assortments that were supposed to be used in the no DQ match here tonight. And on Tuesday we found out that weren't possible, and like I said, I lost the camera crew as well, which if you haven't got a camera crew, defeats the point of doing these shows, really. And this kind of carried on for the week, more cars breaking down that were supposed to be bringing people down, as you know, because you were one of the people that were like, is there any chance? Or you mentioned, there's so many things, that occurred that led to this. My wife is 8 months pregnant, but I felt like I was the one that was about to give birth.
I've been
crazy.
Genuinely surprised that Emily has not given birth during the show.
I'm genuinely surprised.
That would have been the ultimate way just to cap this whole thing off.
It really would. I'm just so glad it didn't. I've got a boy in there that knows his role. And it's just, leave you to it, Daddy. I know you're stressed. Now I've got the negatives out of the way.
Yeah, let's go for the positives.
Let's go for the positives, okay? Positives. I did see some of the catch division. I feel the rounds need to go longer.
Yes.
I think as soon as the, if people were really starting to get into it, a round came to an end. It's one of those things I said, as you guys follow me on Twitter, didn't really know how people are going to react to this. And when you're doing something that's quite stiff, as the catch division is, you can't go out, for like 10, 12 minutes banging the shit out of each other, because you'll be fucked within a couple of moments. So you have to kind of figure out what you're going to do time-wise. So we went with 2 minutes. It was always going to be between 2 and 3. Went with 2 to play it safe, just in case people got bored with so much ground grappling. Doesn't seem like people got bored. It just seems like they needed to be educated a little bit. Stuck it on first deliberately, so people weren't, like we've just seen a load of action, and now we're seeing this.
Do you think first was the right place to put it?
Absolutely, because it's harder to train people to all the action that you've just seen. Now we're going to slow it down and put a load of rules into it than it is if you start the night off. And it's from a casual point of view, from a more dedicated hardcore wrestling fan that comes to it, I might not think so well. But for a casual fan that turns up, which I'm pleased to say we saw quite a freaking few here actually. No, it's absolutely because they were just learning, okay, we do this now, and then it's like, now it's to the wrestling that we know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that, we've done that, now it's to the wrestling that we know.
Yeah, so that was that.
Also, the other thing about it starting was that just immediately showed difference between what we are now and what anybody that's followed anything that I've done previously beforehand, to show it's not just a continuous, it is something completely different, and it's a big thing on the whole European side of wrestling as well.
You're sort of trying to say it's not Chick Fight Part 2?
No, it's not Chick Fight Part 2. It'd be wrong to do Chick Fight Part 2, not just, for everything now, just for the fact it'd be wrong for the guys in the States to do Chick Fight Part 2 as well. I mean, it should be them, doing it now, and I know they will be. So yeah, this isn't Chick Fight Part 2. This is its own entity. So yeah.
Well, let's talk about Gemma Palmer for a second. You had a bit of a scare with her earlier on in the week, is that right?
It was the same day. I got the same email on the same day within an hour. The first couple of lines read, "Hi Dan, I don't know how to break this to you." I was scared. And then later on she said, "But I'm going to be there." And I was like, all right, cool. But I was really impressed. I didn't see anything in the match. I didn't see a damn thing. The only thing I know is there was a call. I've been told to keep talking. Thank you very much. This is
what happens when you're dealing with a show which is recorded live.
Yeah, Sarah Barakoff, who is my photographer of the evening, BritishWrestlingPictures.com, and you go on there and you'll see a load of stuff, including other British wrestling promotions and some old Chick Fight stuff as well. So thank you very much. Great job.
I'm going home. I'm very, very tired.
You came in at just the right time.
I've taken 1,200 pictures.
1,200 pictures?
Yes.
Nice.
So they will all be on the website very soon.
Are there any of me?
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, guys.
See you later. Thank you again, by the way. Appreciate it. What were we saying about? It was a wrestling show. Gemma Palmer, yeah, but the thing is, because you don't really know, it's like you're dealing with someone who is contracted to a very large company outside of the country, is a case of... and in fact, she was Inferno and Gladiators. You never can be sure if you're dealing with a prima donna. And I was going through the match earlier with Jetta and Jemma, and Jemma said to Jetta, she goes, "When you slap me, I want to have a handprint on my face for a week." And it
kind of gets rid of all the diva stuff, really, doesn't it?
Like, oh, okay, I like this girl. She also actually put in there, in the email to me, she goes, "I'll be there no matter what. If I can't do my debut match, I promised you guys I'd have my debut match for you. And if it means coming back in October, I will come back in October." That speaks volumes of her. I can't really comment on how far along. From what I saw, which, like I say, was very little, I don't think many people... I've seen a lot worse 8 years into their career than what I saw. So I was actually quite impressed with what I saw, and overall, I think you've half the battle's won if you've got a great attitude, and she showed a great attitude tonight. I'm really, really impressed with her.
You got another show booked for October?
Yeah, no, it was... Why dilly-dally? Dilly-dally. There's a word for our American audiences.
Oh, that's so British.
So British, isn't it? Very European, sir. Why dilly-dally? You know, we're going to do another show. I'd already booked them. I've got next year's dates. Okay, I'm booked.
You want to tell us?
No.
All right.
Because if I start telling the other dates, people will start getting confused. Was it October 16 or was it... Do you know what I mean? Or,
October 16th is only one that people need to remember, then?
There's only one that people need to remember on October 16, and we'll tell you the following date after.
Well, by the time we upload this, tickets will be available on the website as well, won't they?
Yeah, tickets should be... to be honest, I could put the tickets on sale tonight, but I don't think anybody that's here tonight are going to be in any position... I think everyone's going to be knackered. I know I am. So I'm going to put the tickets up for sale tomorrow, which is Sunday. So the tickets will be already on the website. Someone who we've got coming over for the next show is from Portugal. Her name is Shana, and she's booked for October 16, and I think she's going to turn some heads as well. There was a few people that weren't here tonight that I deliberately didn't book for tonight that are perhaps more well-known in the UK, for the simple reason that if you push everyone to the front line straight away, then you're not going to notice anyone. Whereas, I'm not in any hurry, so we've deliberately not booked everyone straight away. Showcase these girls, and then we'll start slowly introducing more and go from there. So Shana from Portugal is really excited to see what she can do, really excited. So she's a good one to keep an eye on. And I thought Erin Angel did a cracking job tonight as well. I think a lot of people didn't know what to expect from her, because she doesn't do a lot of the... internet-y, shows, so she doesn't get a lot of coverage. Really impressed with Erin tonight. And like I say, there'll be some additional names to what you've seen here in the future.
Quick summing up then, happy?
Yeah, I am happy. And we registered EveWrestling.com on May the 11th last year, so it's pretty much been like a year in the making, this show. Like I say, from an organisational point of view, from everything on my side, this is probably the best prepared we've ever been. And I think that came across as well. Like, we actually had the branding up there on the show as well, so people knew it's Pro Wrestling Eve. I think that we got a good crew of girls, really good crew of girls here. Really happy with the performances of everyone. I can't look back on the night and say I'm disappointed on anybody's performances.
I think that's the thing, actually. I don't think... There are girls of different talent levels, different abilities, but nobody under-delivered on what their talent ability was.
No,
some
exactly.
of the girls were better than others, but that's because they are generally better than others.
Yeah.
But the girls who were less experienced, the girls who have less time in the ring, they wrestled a match that still delivered to that ability.
Absolutely. No, there was a lot of good stuff on there tonight. Really, really impressed with the girls' attitudes. Everyone worked their asses off, and I don't think anybody that sees the DVD is going to come away thinking, meh. I think everyone that sees the DVD is actually going to be pretty much blown away by what they see. Blue Nikita and Saraya beat the shit out of each other.
Yes,
Brittany and Nikki, from what I gather, I only saw a couple of matches. Your opinion?
Yeah, really good. Yeah. Those were the two best matches of the night, the two main events, which is
the way it should.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of real positives to take out of this. Really, really happy.
Because what we're going to do is, when we finish up with you, we're going to have a chat with Jemma and see what her thoughts on the show were.
We'll be back with Gemma Palmer.
Well, we are backstage at the Pro Wrestling Eve show. We've just seen the debut of Gemma Palmer. Gemma's very kindly allowed us some time here just to have a quick word with her. First of all, Gemma, how was your first match?
Well, it flew by. It felt like I was in there for about 5 seconds, but Jetta really looked after me, so that was good.
And how does having your first pro wrestling match in such a small environment with people so close to you, I mean, you're used to performing in gladiators where you've got huge arenas. How much more intense is it when you've got people that close?
You don't really notice the people being there. After doing gladiators, we had a live audience anyway, and once you kind of get into your character, you don't think about it. You're just out there and enjoying being in the ring.
I mean, it's quite a unique experience here, where you're having your first match here, but you're about to head off soon to Florida, to Florida Championship Wrestling, because you've got a WWE developmental deal. You've been on WWE's radar for quite a while, I guess. You've tried out for them in the past. Can you tell us how you got your deal? I mean, when did that first come through for you?
A lot of people seem to think that I kind of got into wrestling after I did gladiators, but I was actually interested in wrestling since I've been about 16. I started doing some kind of valet and promo work for FWA when they were around, and from that I started getting into amateur wrestling because I couldn't find a wrestling school in the area. I initially met a guy called Rick Bassman, who kind of showed me the way into the business, and he kindly gave me a scholarship over in America to train. So
UPW?
Yeah, UPW. So I sold everything in the UK to move over there. And because I didn't have a green card at the time, you had to fly back every 3 months. So I kind of flew in and out of America 18 times in a year just to go over and wrestle.
That's almost as much as us.
Yeah, pretty much. So what was that like then, as far as being able to have that training, but still having to keep flying back all the time? Was that quite frustrating for you?
It was, because it disrupted the training quite a bit. I'd have to come back for a few weeks at a time, and then eventually got to the stage where I just wanted to go straight back out. So I'd fly back, have something to eat and drink, get back on the plane and fly straight back.
So is that what it was? You literally just get back onto British soil and then straight back out again, no hanging around?
No hanging around. I couldn't even be bothered to go back and see my mum half the time because it just cost too much money just to get back. I was out there to try and get into wrestling and make it, and I put everything, all of my money and my time and effort into trying to make that happen.
So what was the training like then?
Pretty hardcore. I think being a girl in the industry, you feel like you've got to prove yourself more. And with some of the trainers that are pretty old school, they really put you through it, maybe even more so than guys. Like, I remember my first lesson was just spent on the apron, just bumping repeatedly. I think it's good in a way because it shows that you want to do it. And when I went back the second day, they were like, what are you doing back here? Why have you come back? And it's because I wanted to do it. I'd got a passion for it, and no one stopped what I wanted to do.
So when was that?
That was probably about 2 years ago now.
And so, in that time you've been doing the training, but while you were doing gladiators, did you stop the training?
Yeah, I had to stop training. They kind of banned me from training because I had a knee injury during training. I couldn't walk for 3 months, and I got 3 months to kind of get better before gladiators started. And when they found out that I'd injured my knee, they said, no more wrestling, you've got to stop doing that, which was really frustrating. But I carried on doing gladiators because I knew then that would help me finance my wrestling training in America.
When you were doing your training in UPW, were you the only girl there, or were there other females training with you?
No, I was the only girl.
No.
Yeah, I always train with guys, so having the opportunity to now come here and work with other girls is really, really good. 'Cause you need to work with girls. It's totally different to working with guys.
How aware were you, or are you, of the British scene? I mean, were you aware of who the people were that you were on the show tonight?
Yeah, a few of the names. I researched different people on the internet and stuff. But mainly, I've been watching guys wrestle because I wrestle guys. So I watch guys wrestling because that's who I've been training with, and that's what I've needed to pick up their kind of moves and their style of wrestling.
So you've been trying to emulate that more than female wrestling particularly, yes?
Yeah, that's why I've kind of been concentrating on getting bigger and stronger.
We've got to ask, because, it's kind of like the elephant in the room at the minute right now. This hand.
Yeah, the hand.
Yeah. What's the deal with it? What's the situation with it?
Well, I was at training the one day. We'd been doing sunset flips from the top rope and had a really, really good session. We went back the next day and I did a sunset flip with a smaller guy who wasn't really expecting me to go for it as much as I probably did, and it kind of turned into a bit of a driver instead. And I managed to save my neck with my hand. Sacrificed the hand for the neck, so it's a good trade-off, really.
I was going to say, as far as, you've had your knee injury, you've had this hand injury, you're getting sort of used to just having these sort of bumps and bruises and scrapes and things like that?
Yeah, I've always been quite good with pain. It's just a bit of pain, so it doesn't really matter that much. It just annoys me when it puts me off training. I've had to go... I still go to training because I like to see what's going on, but I have to sit on the sidelines and then watch people training. It's really frustrating. You want to get in there and carry on. Like, I even tried to get in the ring and train with my cast on, but it wasn't a risk to me, it was a risk to other people. So it's frustrating that I had 4 weeks out of training and then came back here.
You mentioned the frustration. I guess, you came in here, you were going to do your first match.
Yeah.
As far as, what happened out there, is it frustrating that maybe you had something set in your mind and how you wanted it to go, and because of this hand, you couldn't do what you wanted to do?
Yeah, we got, quite big things planned out and then they had to go out the window.
Oh, no.
But there's always next time,
As far as next time is concerned, there's another show here in October. Are you still planning on being around for that?
That would be nice if we could do that. I want to keep my word and do something for them.
What's your time frame as far as heading off to Florida is concerned? Will that be soon?
I'm hoping to go in June.
I guess you've been waiting, I suppose, a long time for this visa to come through, and now it's here.
Yeah.
Is that just a sense of relief, the fact that you've actually got it and it's ready to go?
Yeah, it is in a way, but there's always lots of other things that are going on behind the scenes. You never know what's going to happen.
I suppose, it must be just nice though to have that, this sort of wrangle that's been going on, and now that's just another thing out of the way.
Yeah.
I guess once the hand heals, and you've got to mention about the knee as well.
I was really scared waiting for the visa to go through, because even when you start getting your paperwork through, there's different stages that you can get declined at any time, and the amount of evidence we had to put together to prove that I was this person of extraordinary ability, you had to have a massive wad of paper together to prove that you're worthy of a visa.
Well, I spoke to a friend of mine recently. She recently got a green card, and hers went through in about 3 months, and her attorney said that in the whole time that he's ever worked as an attorney, in about 15 to 20 years, it had never gone through that fast. So I know that a lot of them do take a huge stack of papers. So.
And sometimes you have to request more evidence. You have to get letters from the film institutes and things to prove you are who you say you are.
So technically then, legally, you are a person of extraordinary ability.
I suppose so, you can put it that way.
Send them a Gladiators DVD, was that it?
Yeah, part of that.
I mean, now that you've taken your first step into wrestling, is this something that you do consider as this is going to be your career? This is what you're going to do for the rest of your life, or do you think this is something that you can make some cash out of for a while and then maybe move into some other areas as well?
A lot of people say to get in there, make the cash, and try and get out before you get injured and
save your money.
Yeah, save your money. But I don't think I could do that, because I think once it's got you can't give it up. It's part of you. Like I said, 4 weeks off training has driven me absolutely crazy. It's the same with the gym. If I don't go to the gym, I feel like I'm going crazy. I have to be doing something all the time. Mm-hmm. The only other thing I could see myself doing would probably be cage fighting when I'm older.
Really?
Yeah, I'd love to do that kind of thing.
Have you done training with that as well then?
I did submission wrestling first of all, but I need to get a stand-up thing as well, maybe kickboxing.
Wow. When you mentioned your training and your sort of physical regimens and things like that, what is your training regime? Let's say over a week, what would you do?
Over a week, I just go to the gym twice a day, every day, and then I have wrestling for 6 hours on Saturday and Sunday. They're really good where I train as well, because if I want to do any extra classes, they'll do extra classes with me and work on specific things.
Have you been training while you're back here as well then?
Yeah.
Where have you been training?
A place in West Bromwich called AWE. Guys, they're really, really good.
So I guess that's quite close. Are you living back... Because you're from Tamworth originally, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm living back in Tamworth at the moment.
So
back
driving
with
down...
my mum.
Oh, what's that like?
It's good and bad.
Let me guess, it's frustrating because you haven't got your own space.
Yeah, and also all my stuff's in America and I haven't got my PlayStation and stuff, which I really, really miss.
So what are you doing, living out of a suitcase pretty much?
Yeah, I've got 3 suitcases I'm living out of. I just wear the same gym gear pretty much every day. It's a bit gross.
It's all right, doesn't matter. How long have you been back here? You know, sort of been holed up in Britain until waiting.
Well, it's been about 8 months now. Initially, it was supposed to be 4 weeks, and then it went on an extra week, an extra week, an extra week, and I thought I'm going to be here for quite a while now.
So you say June, but there's a chance that it might not be June.
June next year.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh man, what's that going to be like for you then? Because you've been on hold for that amount of time.
Well, I didn't go back to training for a while because I thought I was only going to be here for a few weeks. I thought I'm not going to go back and risk injury because that's it's worth too much. So I eventually took the decision I've got to go back to training because I'm just going to have too much ring rust otherwise.
And I've got to ask you about just Eve as well about how you ended up on this show. Did the promoter Dan Reed come to you about it, or did you maybe approach him?
I'm always going on lots of different wrestling news sites and stuff, and I saw there was a women's promotion starting up. I thought, well, get in touch and it won't do any harm. Let's see if we can get involved in that.
So you actually came to these guys then?
Yeah.
You happy you did?
Yeah, very happy. I mean, I've made some really good contacts with the girls here. They've said they'll do some training with me.
Would you be open then to working other shows in Britain until such times as you head off?
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to get as much experience under my belt as possible, actually doing matches in front of an audience, because I haven't really done much of that. It's a totally different thing, like working for the crowd.
Yeah, this is what they say, is like you can train as long as you like, but it's only until you start working in front of a crowd you really learn how to wrestle.
I've got a problem that I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I don't like going out and doing something unless it's going to be perfect, but I've accepted the fact it's not going to be perfect. You've got to have your first match, and it's not going to be like WrestleMania or anything. You just need to get out there and do it.
Yeah, not at this stage, but, eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what about the other guys who were involved in Gladiators then, who've gone on to America? Do you still keep in touch with Nick Aldis and Barry and all the other people who've been...
I've been in touch with Barry, and there's also Daniel Singh as well. He wrestles over here.
Mm-hmm.
They both offered to do some training with me as well, so I don't know how that would work because they're just huge compared to me. It'd have to be like a squash match or something.
That is probably true. Well, I think in that case we'll probably wrap that up and just say good luck for the future as far as WWE is concerned. I'm certainly going to be following your career very closely. We've been a fan of yours on Gladiators for a while, so it'll be nice to see you make your way right to the top.
Yeah.
Gemma Palmer, thank you again.
Thank you very much too.